My name is Alina Rose Santana. I'm 64 years old, and for over 4 decades, I was a wife, a mother, and the beating heart behind Moonrise Vineyards, a small organic wine farm nestled in the valleys of Northern California. Even now, with hands marked by years of labor, I can still feel the rhythm of crushing grapes into ruby wine. The peaceful moments tending vines at sunset beside my husband, Roberto. 4 weeks ago, I buried him. Roberto and I had been married since 1981. We created everything together: the land, the business, this home, our family. But the morning after his funeral, I discovered something I wish I hadn't. What I thought we built together maybe wasn't strong enough to keep our children close. Or perhaps they never really wanted to stay connected in the first place. Roberto died of lung cancer. 18 months of watching the man who once hauled barrels and planted rows with his bare hands slowly fade away. The disease consumed him gradually. He made me promise not to tell the kids. Let them keep their peace a little longer without this burden, he whispered one night, voice rough with medication. Because I loved him deeply, I agreed. But deep down, I already knew the truth. Our children, Michael and Sophia, had drifted long before the diagnosis. Michael, our eldest, built his empire in San Francisco's tech world. 12 years, and I could count on one hand how many times he had visited Sophia. Our free spirit bounced from one wellness startup to the next, each funded by Roberto's quiet generosity. But when they arrived for the funeral, I didn't see my children. I saw two corporate machines. Michael wore a tailored charcoal suit, platinum watch gleaming like he was closing a merger. Sophia, sleek hair, designer dress, perfect nails, looked like she stepped from a luxury magazine. They hugged me with that hollow politeness reserved for business acquaintances at networking functions. That night, I sat alone in the kitchen. Same table Roberto and I had shared morning coffee at 4:32 years. I gently suggested we go through his belongings together the next day. It was small but meaningful, a mother's way of creating space for memories. They nodded, smiled, said, "Of course, Mama," but the next morning revealed everything I needed to know. When they came downstairs, they looked like they were heading to a corporate merger, not honoring their father's memory. Michael sat down first, placed his mug on the table with mechanical precision. "Mom," he said, "we've been discussing things." Sophia jumped in quickly. "We think it's time to get everything organized. The vineyard, the house. The assets need settling. It's just logical, Mom. The business can't operate itself. And this house is massive. You shouldn't have to handle it all alone at your age. My age." The words hung in the air like poison. I had worked this land longer than either of them had. Held steady employment, pruned vines through storms. Balanced books when we were too poor to hire help. There's a developer offering $8 million. We could all be secure, Mom. You'd never have financial worries again. A developer. They wanted to sell the vineyard, destroy it, replace decades of love, soil, struggle, and sustainability with concrete pathways and modern subdivisions. "You want to sell your father's legacy?" I asked. Then Michael slid a folder across the table. "Dad and I arranged this. He asked me to take over the business. It's all documented. The papers were printed on Michael's firm's letterhead. Roberto's signature was pristine. Too pristine. A man on oxygen couldn't have written so clearly. "This isn't from Mr. Rodriguez, our family lawyer," I said, my voice steady. "I said I needed my medication and wanted to collect some family photographs." I climbed the stairs slowly, but not from age. I was strategizing. Behind the medicine cabinet, an old wooden one Roberto installed in the 80s, was a secret compartment he'd built. Inside were my passport, birth certificate, and our marriage license. Beneath loose floorboards in Roberto's closet, I retrieved a fireproof metal box. It contained something more powerful than memories: a deed to 19 acres of vineyard land with complete water rights. Purchased in my maiden name before I ever said I do, it was our insurance policy, our emergency plan. And now it was my lifeline. About 25 minutes later, he stopped near an empty meadow just beyond county lines. He parked, got out, walked around to open my door. "This is your stop," he said, just like that, like we were on public transportation. "What? Sophia's?" Voice cracked. "She challenged the will," he muttered. "She'll create delays." "This is cleaner." I wasn't scared, I wasn't shattered, I was free. I stood there for a long moment, letting the breeze embrace me. Then I started walking, not toward the store Michael had mentioned, but toward town. My shoes weren't designed for gravel, and the sun had climbed high enough to warm the back of my neck. My body ached, but my resolve didn't. 2 hours later, I reached Riverside's edge. And there, like a treasure from a kinder era, stood Martinez's Market and Cafe, old, weathered, still standing. Then he emerged, Carlos Martinez, apron-stained, eyes kind, voice carrying that warm husk and warm Latino rhythm. "Mrs. Santana," he said, "you look exhausted." His kindness created pressure in my chest. I dialed our family attorney, Elena. Antonio Rodriguez's voice sounded confused and urgent. "I expected you at the will reading 2 days ago." My grip on the receiver tightened. "What reading?" Michael presented a will, but something felt wrong. It didn't match the revisions your husband and I made just 6 months ago. I reached into my purse and pulled out the fireproof box. Inside was the deed, the original deed to 19 acres of vineyard land purchased in my maiden name with full water rights. He held the document like it was sacred scripture. "Is gold," he whispered. "Without these water rights, no one can touch that property." By noon the next day, Antonio had filed an emergency injunction to freeze the sale. The moment it hit the real estate firm, everything changed. The buyer withdrew from negotiations entirely. That evening, his phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. "Mom, please call me. Michael is losing it. We didn't know about the other land. Can we fix this?" I donated the 19 acres to the Riverside Agricultural Collective, a local nonprofit run by young Latino farmers. I placed it in permanent trust. They couldn't sell it. Legacy isn't in bank accounts. It's in the hands that tend it after. You're gone. The vineyard would live in the hearts of the community it once nourished. My vineyard still stands. My name remains on the deed. My story is no longer hidden behind silence or shame. If you've ever been told this is where you get off, I say this to you. Walk with purpose. Don't leave your worth behind. Reclaim it. Nurture it. Let it flourish. Your voice matters, and your story might be exactly what someone else is waiting to hear.